Hello, beautiful souls. I hope you're well. So, this week I wanted to share 5 really powerful things that you can do to begin changing your reality. So, these are all of the things that I did when I was working in my corporate job and I just absolutely hated it. And I was desperate to leave and I was really miserable and unhappy and struggling with an eating disorder. I was not in a good place. But these are the 5 things that I did to begin shifting really my mindset and where I and start shifting my mind into a place of this is where I'm going, this is where I want to be. So the first thing I did was gratitude, even though it was a job that it was really, really stressful part of it. And I knew I wanted to leave. I was grateful for it. So think about things that you're grateful for, and you can use various areas of life. So it could be your work, it could be your family, it could be your health, it could be your spirituality, it could be friendships. So you can put maybe different lists and have a real think about what you're grateful for. We live in houses here and we have food. A lot of people around the world don't have that. So get really basic. You've got food in the fridge, you've got money in the bank, you've paid your bills, you've got a car to drive, you've got petrol in that car. And really the whole point of it is not to just write those things out, but it's to get into that feeling of, oh, yeah, that when you're feeling, I remember what somebody was saying, when you're feeling grateful, you can't really feel anything else. You can't feel miserable and grateful. You can't feel unhappy and grateful, because gratitude brings such a lovely feeling, doesn't it? So the whole point of it is that you really feel, I really am so grateful for where I live. I really am grateful for, and even if there's an element of not enoughness and you're trying to create more, being grateful for what you have and wanting more is still okay, but be grateful for that. Sometimes every order that I get through, even if it's like for 1 bar of soap, I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Every little thing, be grateful for. So yeah, I've got this lovely little book. I don't know, my sister probably bought it for me for Christmas, or one of my family members. And it's just, today's intentions, thoughts and feelings, and what you're grateful for. So what are you grateful for on this day? And even the thing, if you want to leave something behind and create something new, be grateful for, where you are now. Like, I was grateful for my job, even though I didn't like it, because it was giving me the money to pay for all the courses that I was doing at the time, all the holistic therapy courses. I was grateful for that. It was giving me experience. It was my greatest teacher, really, that job. But looking back, so yeah, really dig into what are you grateful for today. Gratitude. I've done gratitude. Affirmations. One thing that I used to do, I used to get up a little bit earlier and I would sit in my hotel room, because I used to commute down to the south of the UK. I live in the north of the UK, and I used to basically live in a hotel for Monday to Friday for about 2 years. I did that. So before I would get up, I would sit at my little desk in my hotel room and I would just write all those affirmations out. And there were a lot of, sometimes you can, if you're doing your gratitude, you can read all of that out. I'm truly grateful for blah, blah, blah. Or affirmations that feel good to you. There's no point saying I am rich if you're absolutely broke, because part of you won't get that. Creating really good affirmations is a powerful tool, and it can take a bit of tweaking to get you to create an affirmation that feels really good. But affirmations are things like I am and I have. I am grateful for all of the things that, grateful for the opportunities that come to me. I am grateful for, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be gratitude, but start it with I am and I have. So where are some of mine? These are some of mine that I have been working on lately. So I don't need outside permission to honor my knowing. I am the authority in my life and business. I release the need to second guess my intuition. I choose to believe in myself. It is safe for me to be totally brilliant. Yeah, these kind of things. Now, all of these ones I've done a lot of work into making them feel really good. The other thing that you can do, if you have a mat affirmation, and you can Google lots of affirmations, and to make, if they don't feel good to you, if there's part of you going, oh, well, I don't feel safe doing that. Part of me is willing to believe. A part of me is willing to believe it's safe for me to have more money. A part of me is willing to believe um, I have the most amazing ideas for my business. Yeah. Part of me is willing to believe I am worthy always, and my worth is not dependent on anything I do, say, or be. That's the kind of, it wants to, you want to get a full body. Oh, that feels good. Yeah. And if there's not a full body, then perhaps you need to tweak it, make a few changes, or use a part of me is willing to believe. The other thing about affirmations, which I quite like, there's a guy called, I think he wrote a book, Noah St. John, I think his name was, and he would put a why in front of it. Why is it safe for me to have more money? And then I think it's the reticular activating system starts to think of all of the, it may not be the reticular activating system, but part of you, your brain starts at, why am I safe to have more money? And your brain starts looking for the answers to that question. Yeah. So it's really, really good. I love that one when I'm feeling good. Well, why is it safe for me to do that? Why is it what? And then you start to think of all the reasons why. Yeah. So affirmations was number 2. Number 3, meditation. Massively helpful and beneficial, particularly if you're stressed, you are feeling burnt out. And that's where I was at the time. And I began to learn how to meditate. And meditation is a practice. It takes time, particularly if you are stressed or burnt out, or in any of that kind of fight or flight kind of you're feeling stressed or anxious, can be quite difficult. There's lots of different ways of doing meditation, not necessarily just sat there closing your eyes. You could do a walking meditation. I often use sound, because the sound, so if you're on Insight Timer, you can just listen to a singing bowl kind of sound, or just listening. You can Google, YouTube, lots of different music, the high frequency music, whatever feels good to you. But really, to be able to control, and you're not controlling the mind. I just want to say that you're not controlling the mind. You are just being the observer of what is going on in there, and letting those thoughts go, rather than constantly being on you can do breath meditation. There's so many ways, but meditation was a real game changer for me. It helped me just it helped to calm me down, and it just helped me get those little moments of, so as you begin to let the thoughts go, you'll get little moments of nothingness. And a little moment of nothingness is better than no moment of nothingness. And then maybe as you begin, if you choose that form of meditation, the gaps get a little bit longer, and those beautiful gaps where you can just hang out and just exist. Absolutely wonderful. Nature and exercise, I put them together because walking in nature is an exercise. But yeah, move the body. Yeah, yoga was one of the things I kind of got into, not very early on. That was a bit further down the line for me. But I tried. I had a book, and I looked at mountain pose and thought, that's insane. It's just lying on the floor. But I got into yoga. I'm a qualified yoga teacher much kind of later down the line. But I do believe that getting out in nature, one of the things I used to do a lot, because I live near the sea, was go to the beach and go for a walk. That was a big thing for me back in the early days of my spiritual journey and my healing journey, was to walk, particularly by the sea. So if that's possible for you, absolutely. Exercise, yoga, Pilates, going to the gym, any of that where you're moving the energy, shifting the energy around your body. Yeah. And it releases all those endorphins. And it's so good for you as well. So learn. When I first started my kind of spiritual journey, and I started to getting into all of the holistic practices that I learned, I was doing a lot of courses. I was doing a lot of learning. There's so much to learn when you begin this path of spirituality or personal development. There's so many courses and things to do. So indulge in, if you get an urge to go and, oh, that feels exciting and it's a full body, oh, I really want to do that, then learn. I bought books and I read and I read and I digested so much information because I was rewiring myself. I was rewiring my brain to create a different reality. So I read Louise Hay, Wayne Dyer, Esther Hicks, the Abraham books. I used to love Esther, the Abraham back in the day. Would watch all of their stuff on YouTube because it was something new, and I didn't know that all of this stuff existed and that I could create a different reality for myself. So I still do now. Books and learning and knowledge and all of that stuff, particularly if you have a 1 in your human design profile, you'll want that knowledge. That's how you create safety, is through knowledge for ones. So yeah, learn, fill your boots, do the course, sign up for the thing, do everything that excites you, because there's so much to learn and so much to know. And there's so many great people out there offering their wisdom on how they have transformed their lives, a bit like what I'm doing here. And you might need their knowledge. So indulge in all of the learning, all of the things that feel exciting to you. Go for that. Celebrate your wins. This is something, particularly if we're very harsh and critical on ourselves, that we just totally forget. Yeah. What have you done? How far have you come? What have you learned? Not necessarily, it could be work things, it could be courses and qualifications, but it also could be life experiences, things that you've done in your life, things that you've had experience doing. It's a life experience sometimes, the university of life. That's a great place, isn't it? We don't need to have a million qualifications to do what it is that we want to do. You just need to give yourself permission to do it. Yeah. So think of all of what are your wins? And your wins don't have to be great big things. They can just be like, some days it feels like just getting out of bed and doing something, doesn't it? It feels like, particularly if you're perimenopausal, it just means, oh my God, I got through the day. I got through the brain fog. I did some work today. I did a thing. It doesn't have to be massive. Think of your situation, the situation that you're in right now, relevant to that. Where I am right now, this is a great win for me. Yeah. If you're perimenopausal, you'll know that getting through a day with brain fog is a win. And you've just got through a day with brain fog. Yeah, that's a great win. And there can be many more examples of that. But think of your situation. Where are you right now? What is a win for me? What is my win been today, considering that this is my situation? And visualization. Now, visualization, some people struggle to visualize. And I think that because, in human design, it actually tells you what your main sense is, like your really superhuman sense is. Mine is feeling. So visualization, you might struggle to actually see the thing, but I know for me, it's more, I can get into the feeling of it. So sometimes I'll just let myself daydream a little bit. Guided visualizations are really, really good. You might want to write out, your visualization might be you write something. So you write your dream day. Today I woke up and somebody brought me breakfast and blah blah blah, and you write your dream day, or you write out your dream, what your dream life looks like. Journaling, might be a thing for you. That might be a way of how you get into the feeling. The whole point really of visualization, well, there's two things. When you visualize something, your brain doesn't know the difference whether it's real or you're doing it or not. So they've done studies, I think, where people just visualize. I think it was I'm not going to do this story very just. I think it was athletes, or they asked people to visualize lifting weights and not visualize lifting weights, and the people who visualized it had more of a growth in their muscles. I'm not really doing it very good justice. I should have researched it before I mentioned it, but it's actually a thing. Your brain does not know the difference between you actually doing it and you actually visualizing it. I think was it playing a piano, something like that. So visualization is really, really good for that aspect, for the brain, because it thinks you're doing it. So, and what your brain is always looking for something to do. So you may as well give it something useful to do. And Oh, what's the thing that I saw yesterday? It'll come back to me in a minute. The other thing is to get into the feeling. It's to really get into the feeling of, that thing. So if you're visualizing, like, there's a restaurant I want to go to in London, a Michelin star vegan restaurant, the only one. I've been following this guy for ages, and I'm like, I just visualize myself sat there and eating the bread and being in the feeling of it. And when you're in that vibration, then you're attracting more of that thing. Yeah, you're attracting more of that feeling. You're attracting more of the things that are going to create that feeling for you. So I used to visualize, I used to do lots of things. So I had a diary. So I made a diary. So back, my first business was a holistic therapies business. My dream was just to be fully booked with clients. That was it. So I created a diary and I filled it all as if I was fully booked with all people, Jane having reflexology and Sarah having a massage. And I had it. And I think I still got it on my computer. I put it on my computer. So that it was, something I could see every day and something that I wanted to work to. And then I became fully booked, of course. So lots of little things that you can do to just really help you to shift into that space of, this brain is where I'm going. This brain is telling your brain, this is what I want. This is what we're going after. Yeah. Because it'll need that, because we are negatively wired. We are, we do have a lot of, all that dipping into fear stuff is normal and natural. But the more that we can encourage ourselves into, okay, actually, this is what we want to create, by visuals or post-it notes or vision boards or whatever it is, those things might work for you. They might not. Just finding what works for you. But I do love a guided visualization meditation. I really enjoy those, and I like those little visual clues of, oh yeah, this is where we're going. Putting my affirmations, like I've got these little from a coach that I'm working with at the moment, and I put them here and there, and I remember every now and again to go back to them. So, and they were the things that I started to do when I began to leave my corporate job and start my own business. And there's still things that I do now. They can be, you can look at them as basic things, but they're really important things for us to get back to, because remember, we're retraining ourselves to get into a different space, into a different mindset. And all of these practices, some of them will work for you and some of them won't. You'll be like, oh, I don't fancy doing that. Do the ones that really you're like, oh yeah, I quite fancy doing that, quite excited doing that. Yeah, I get quite excited by getting in this book. When I found this book, there were some stickers in the back, and I got so excited about using the stickers. My inner child was having like, ooh, stick these stickers. I don't know what, I mean, just like stickers, but little things like that where you go, oh, that's really exciting. I really want to try that. I really want to do that. Go for it, do it. And the things that don't resonate with you, they don't resonate. Yeah, there's a different way for you. That's all. It's just about finding it. So I hope that is useful. I probably will turn this into a blog as well, but I wanted to share just some of the things that will help to shift you and help you create a different reality, because they're all the things that I did and still do. And I did particularly rigorously and very dedicated. I did them a lot, basically, when I was quitting my corporate job and setting up my own business. So hope they're useful. If they have been, let me know. Any takeaways? It's always great to hear from you. I love getting your messages. Please hit reply to the newsletter. Sending you lots and lots of love, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.